We like to build up all the anticipation.
Wait for it.
Let's say hypothetically that I don't know anything about fly fishing.
Yeah, right?
It was like this instant 8-way man crush.
I'm on the fence.
The time we've been doing this podcast, I've never seen Uncle Buck perk up his butt. It's dolphin procreation. Like you just flipped up out of your chair.
Yeah, he just blew out his blowhole.
What are you talking about?
And that's pretty much my dream coming true is to actually meet you guys.
Yeah. Well, I'm the humblest guy I know.
Work and do trade shows in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. You meet some pretty wild guys.
You blew it! I'm the worst PR person ever. Fire me.
All right, everybody, welcome back. You are in the current with the Rutten River Pursuits podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Will.
I'm Dave.
I'm Catfish.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm in Missouri.
What?
Yeah, guys, how are you all doing?
What's going on? What part of Missouri? As
Well,
if there's a surprise to that.
Well, believe it or not, boys, I'm right down here near Shell Knob and Table
Get
Rock.
out.
Good old Cassville, Missouri, Berry County, Missouri.
All right.
Was
We're
that
here.
named after your cousin?
Yeah, it was named after my cousin. No, actually, but no, we came on down on Monday, got down here, and we were riding down in the truck, and 16-hour drive, and
Bucky, why are you getting all serious?
Oh, he's all slow. He's slowing down. He's getting the shell knob on.
Oh, man.
a song came on the radio, and as I was listening to it,
oh man,
it took me to Shell Knob already. It was Riders on the Storm, Dog
Shut
Without
your
a Bone.
mouth.
Riders on
And you know what I'm going after? It immediately reminded me of Shell Knob, that basset just begging for a bone.
like a basset hound just begging for a bone.
So, and at the same time, I was getting hungry, and I said, Bryce, let's stop for eggs.
Yeah.
And it just...
Oh, yeah. When I'm traveling, that's like the first thing that comes to mind.
For some real good yellow eggs.
And it was just a real existential morning, guys.
Got all existential.
I'm starving. Let's stop and get some eggs.
Oh, yeah.
Existential.
But no, guys, I mean, it's great to get back down here. We've been just riding around, and what I noticed, the big thing, what I noticed that's changed,
Yeah.
there's not dirt roads anymore. The farm roads are not dirt roads anymore. I had told that story to Will and Catfish about being drugged down a old clay dirt road on the back of my uncle's truck. Well, I tried to show Bryce that, and it's paved over now. It's macadamed. So
No
I mean,
kidding.
Did you recreate it?
even the country is getting modern, and it kind of hurt a little bit because I'm used to those clay dirt roads, but other than that, we were out at where my mom and her family grew up, and that's where we were feeding those cattle at that I sent back those pictures. And
Yeah.
Kinfolk.
just great getting back to your roots, guys. It really is.
Always
it's
is.
Yeah, I need to bring you all back here. I'm already trying to arrange fishing arrangements for next year.
So are you doing any outdoorsing while you're there?
Well, if you call, just being out and helping your uncle take care of his cattle, and
no, that's not it.
You know what he meant.
You know exactly what it meant.
I'm
Come
not
on, Buck.
fishing. I'm not doing any fishing right now,
Okay.
guys.
There you go.
I'm not.
Straight honesty is what we're looking for on this podcast.
But you're out
Yeah.
branding cattle and
We're out, running
Roping
some cattle.
steers.
Who's branding cattle?
We don't brand them.
you don't?
You just feed them and let them get bigger so you can sell them and make some money.
I just wanted to say that.
Make some money.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, Stevie, I think we could let you brand a cow if you'd really
Really?
like to.
I don't know.
We could make that happen probably.
You put the old SM on
Figure.
the side.
Yeah, I could put my initials on there.
SMC.
The BDSM.
Stephen Miser Cattle Company.
Incorporated.
Yeah, ask them. I'll get a brand made.
But guys, I got to ask you guys: are you guys wearing your waders and stuff around town? What's going on back home?
Oh, buddy.
You don't want to
even
know.
wanna know. I don't have. I have time. I mean, but like, the basement got flooded.
You saw
What?
those pictures, didn't you?
Yes, but the last time I talked to Will, we were having leaking from the roof, and I wasn't even aware of the basement issue at that point.
Oh, that's the least of our problems is the roof leaking now.
Yeah, the basement, the pod castle got compromised. It was breached.
The moat backfilled.
The flanks of its walls were breached. So anyway, we're back in business. Catfish and I, we're whipping whopper ploppers down here.
Yeah, we're fishing topwater in the basement.
Fishing topwater in the basement like Ryan was fishing topwater in his front yard, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know.
I'll tell you
Golly.
what, it's barbless down here.
All
Is
barbless.
it?
Yeah.
Only one hook though, too, right?
You can
Catch
only
and release only.
You can only use worms for live bait.
Oh golly, it's highly protected water. Then.
Yes, it
Very.
is.
I was trying to chum them in earlier.
Catfish lost a piece of himself down here in that water.
I did.
Oh man. Oh, you boys, be careful. It's so good to be able to call in
Are you trying to get off the phone?
Yeah, I need to go visit with some people.
Do they realize their kinfolk is a
International Pod Star.
Well, they're starting to realize that.
All right.
I mean, yeah. A couple kids saw the sticker on the truck when I rolled into town.
What'd they say?
Oh, they went nuts.
There's
Autographs.
R2 Buck.
I had to shoo them away.
beat them off with both hands?
Well, that's the only reason
I
they
think-
macadam'd your roads is because they
Go on,
knew you
get.
were coming.
Go on,
Yeah, get. You took away my clay dirt roads that I used to get drugged behind. A truck on.
Did you put a push bar in that F-250?
Yeah. Well, that F-250, there's a piece of me left in that after the last trip here, 16 hours.
Well, I don't want to hear about that. That's not cool.
Well, Bucky,
It's kind of like the RV up in Canada, guys.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty much done traveling for this year.
Good.
I've done enough miles. So
Well, make sure you come back.
yeah.
it'll be good to get back, y'all. That's for sure.
We'll let you get back to your kin there, brother.
Hey, I love you guys. Thanks for letting me call in and be a
man.
part of.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Tell them
you,
the
Bucky.
R2 boys love them.
I will, and keep it. And just remember one thing for me:
Yeah.
rig 'em weedless.
Oh, man.
That was existential.
I love you, boys.
See you,
Bucky.
Alrighty, y'all have a good evening. Get home safe tonight.
All right,
Later, bud.
Bye.
All right, bye.
So, there he goes.
How about that?
There he goes.
There he goes again.
I knew that was coming.
Tell you what all the rain did do
What's that?
is it turned fishing back on.
Did it really?
It did.
Well, the water's somewhat colder.
It is.
I saw somewhere, and I can't remember where I was looking, but it may have been at Racetown,
Dark water.
where the the water temperature dropped from 82 to 73 or something like that over the last few days.
I haven't had the boat out since, to check water temperature, but it's top water's back on like it was in
gotta
May.
be why, huh?
Top water was on fire. Bass were crushing top water this week, and it was a blessing. I mean, the rain sucks for lots of reasons, but as far as fishing goes, I think for the next couple weeks, hopefully the bass fishing is really back where it should have been.
Yeah.
Like in early June.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been real good. Caught a lot of nice fish this week.
You
Yeah,
caught
you
a couple pretty special fish, at least to me. Right?
It was shocking.
Yeah.
It was shocking to me to see that fish breach and grab the topwater bait and take it down. And then I mean, when I set the hook and reared back and the rod bent, I went, oh man, that's not a bass. But we don't typically catch stripers in Lake Mead. They're pretty elusive. Mm-hmm. We know they're there, but a lot like other places, Racetown guys fish for them all the time. They're elusive. And I caught two back to back at a mud run, and boy, it was. If you see the little video, you can see the look on my face. I was genuinely like a little kid, like, yes.
That's
Yeah.
never really happened. I mean, you fished probably that lake more than anyone, and I mean,
And in 13 years, I've
How
caught
many
3 of them.
casts?
Yeah, I mean, that's including those two.
And no,
Okay,
I've caught 3 prior to these 2.
Okay, but I mean, like that's pretty impressive to
Yeah.
catch 2 back to back, and those are number 4 and 5 for you being at that lake. That's crazy.
So Mud Run, it feeds the lake, and with all the rain, it was really gushing. Like the water was up and it was gushing in, and I think they were schooled up right there, just waiting for whatever was being washed
could
in. Yeah,
drop in.
yeah, they were in this right where the fast water goes out over the point, and you can see the bubbles of the fast water drop off. Like it's still going, but there must have been just enough current right there for them just to be circling looking for stuff.
wow.
Because they hit the top water plug in the same spot both times.
That's pretty sweet.
It was cool. It was a good fight.
I bet.
And they have such a big mouth on them. Like that was the mid size, the
130, 110.
No, the 130. It was the 130 Whopper Plopper, and the whole lure was in his mouth,
Really?
like sideways.
Wow.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was either one of them sporting a Kitech?
There was an old ovaled hole in the one side of the one's mouth where a Kitech could have been years ago, but no.
Like months ago.
A couple months ago, maybe.
I was going to say months ago, but yeah, no, it's very possible it could have been the Kitech thief, either one of them.
It was there. Yeah, I mean, they look very similar.
The pictures reminded me of the one that
I was going to fight him until Stevie got there so he could help me.
I didn't edit it for you.
If you saw the video, I didn't take any chances. I kind of just breached him up onto the...
Yeah, you
Yeah,
drugged him up.
I drug him up sideways because I didn't want to try to get him loose in the water.
Oh yeah,
I wasn't taking the risk.
I don't blame you.
yeah.
But, it was shocking to me to get them both back to back. And I caught some nice largemouth that night right there too, so it wasn't just them. But I'll tell you something special that did happen that I didn't get a chance to talk about on last week's podcast was I was out fishing with good friend Sean Kennedy, and we were out on the boat, and we were out in front of a place in the lake where we call Gingerbread Cove, the Gingerbread House. Real expensive, multi-million-dollar house that sits there. And in this cove is normally like Party Cove. It's where the pontoon boats all gather up and the ski boats tether together.
That's where Deaky would be if he.
And
had
there's
a boat.
and there's lots of grass in there. So typically, guys don't fish out in the open there a lot because there's just too many boats. You skirt around it or you go around. We try to fish the docks around the bank, and so we were fishing topwater. It was early in the morning. It was just at sunrise. Sun was actually up. And we were fishing right along there, and I turned around and saw minnows jumping, and then the water started to turn, and there was a total what I thought was a striper blitz.
Yeah.
The water was exploding, like 10 yards across circle.
Oh man.
It was just going nuts, and you could tell that they were big fish chasing bait fish, now I don't have the trolling motor on the boat yet, and it was just out of casting range. So I cranked the motor up. It's early in the morning. I'm not allowed to go fast, but I gave it just enough juice to get it going. And I drifted over there, and I told Sean, I'm like, dude, that's a blitz. Get your topwater bait in there. Now, hit the middle of that. You don't work it. Just hit it and just twitch it or whatever. Just get your bait out there quick before it's over. And we were all excited. He threw his whopper plopper out. I threw mine out a little further than him. That didn't even hit the water, and he didn't catch one bass. He caught 2 bass on one whopper plopper, and they were both nice bass. That's how excited this fishing frenzy was 2 bass grabbed that lure at the same time. He caught 1 bass on one hook, 1 on the other, reeling it in. So as he's reeling it in, I even told him, like, there's your first striper, bud. That's your first striper. Look at that rod bend, because I didn't know there was 2 bass on it. I just thought it was a huge striper. Yeah. And I reeled mine in kind of slowly, and it got hit 3 times and never got the hook. It popped it out of the water once.
Wow.
So as he's reeling in, and he's like, oh, we need the net. I'm like, I'll get it. Let me get my bait back out. Hold on. So I threw back out, and sure enough, as soon as it hit the water, I snapped a nice largemouth that once again I thought it was a striper.
Yeah.
So as we're reeling in, he says, I got 2 big bass.
Oh, jeez.
And he throws the net down, and I grab the net, and we're trying to fidget with the GoPro as I'm reeling in, and my bass, I had a nice bass on. Never have I before, scooped the net down. Actually, I don't even think I did. I think Sean did it. one of us scooped the net down and put 3 bass in one net at one time.
That's amazing.
It was a super
That's
cool.
crazy.
What do we call those types of moment? Like a nature-gasm type of moment.
They call that egg-istential down in Shale Knob.
Nice. Had we not had such a giant mess in the net, that blitz still was going on. Like, I think we probably could have laid the bass down and,
Got a couple more?
Yeah, but I've never seen that. Even in Lake Mead, I've seen some striper blitzes by the dam.
Yeah.
They come and go real fast, and it just looks like the water's boiling. You see a couple bait fish jumping out of the water, a few shad, whatever. This was a largemouth bass blitz. Never saw it before.
Wow.
So
There's a
That's pretty
video
sweet.
out there.
Unless the
I saw a
stripe-
video on Instagram of that.
it was wild, man. Never seen it. So
Yeah.
if you ever see that, make sure you have a rod with top water tied on at all times, because if you get it in there, you got it. They don't let it hit the water. It's gone.
I'm happy
That's
to catch
awesome.
one small bass, much less 2. That's like pack it up and go home for me.
Oh, he was super excited. That made the whole morning. We could have just quit and ate honey buns the rest of the day. But we didn't.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Deke, did you do anything this week?
No, actually,
What?
Nothing.
nothing. Oh, actually, yeah.
Come on now,
Sorry.
bud.
Well, I sold one boat this week.
Congrats.
So you're down
Yeah.
to 6 now.
No.
7.
So
That and a float plane.
and then I because then the next night I bought another boat. So
So you're back to
I'm
back
back
to
to-
even.
yeah, back to even. So, but moved up. Got a little bit bigger, a little bit wider John boat.
Well, tell us about it.
It's Express 17.5 footer with a 50 horsepower on the back.
50 horse.
Shut your
Yeah.
mouth.
Holy
So-
cow!
Yeah, I mean it's a used boat, but new to me. So
How did you get it out yet?
no, I haven't. I mean,
Does it float?
I drove it home in the rain and it
Yeah.
floated.
That's awesome. Where are you going to run a 50 horse around here?
The river.
Really?
Go down to Harbor de Grace. Go to the shore.
York
Nice.
Haven.
Oh, that'll be
Yeah.
so
Taking up to
nice
York
for
Haven.
you and
Yeah,
your,
York Haven.
all your friends and your family.
He cannot put that boat in the water until we turn it into a side console or center console and paint
Yeah.
it black.
Yeah.
Would you have any plans to do any kind of work on it? or-
Not right now. I want to make sure all electric was up to snuff. Just go through that. Make sure I need to get a trolling motor on the front. Mm-hmm. Go from there. I think I'm going to keep it a side console for at least a season.
Catfish said the same thing, and 6 days later there was a
Right.
center console.
but you would be open to the center console.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the layout. There's it's an all
It
weld.
goes from the side to the center.
Yeah, that's
fairly
nice.
straightforward, but-
But there's a gun box. It's like welded in.
Oh, boy.
I was
We
looking
can
at
cut
that.
that out.
Yeah, I was looking at that. So
Do you want
Don't
that
worry
cut out, or
about
you like
that.
that gun box?
I'm not sure yet.
If you cut that gun box out and put the center console so you can still bass fish off the front, you'd have a lot of room in that boat.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
want to do this,
I'm not sure.
We're free Sunday.
I want to get the trolling motor on the front
Yeah.
and then go from there.
You just
You
want to
find
get. He wants to get the title in his name first.
No, it's all done. It's all
really?
everything's in my name. Did that last night.
did you find a trolling motor yet?
No, not yet. But I have to. I'm looking. I don't know if I want a true pedal steering one or if I want to go with the hand
That's
remote
what
one.
Bucky has.
That's what I want. I want the hand remote one.
Yeah,
Really?
I've had the pedal one before, and it's not. I'm just afraid I'm going to lose the hand remote one.
Well, being
The dude up in Quebec
Mm-hmm.
had a lanyard.
the remote control one.
Yeah. So
Do you ever see those ones that like GPS and it'll keep you a certain distance away from the
and you can also
shoreline
like
and all
hold in
that?
hold in a spot.
Yeah,
So
Well,
anchored.
all the Traveres, all them that have the iPilot do that.
yeah.
They're
So-
probably cheap. You ought to get one.
Yeah,
of
I'm
them.
not sure if I'm going to be able to go that.
Well, that's what I'm
That-
holding out for.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to get, just because of how many trolling motor only lakes we have around us,
Yeah, you have
I just
to
need to
have
kind
one.
of get a trolling motor. So, because I even, with the other boat, my transom trolling motor was sold with that. So,
Oh, you
Well,
sold that as a
I got to
package.
go with the remote controlled trolling motor
All right.
because if I put a regular one up front, then I have to rely on Stevie to drive it.
Oh
Right.
yeah, it
'Cause
ain't happening.
I don't leave the center console
yeah.
when I'm on the boat. But as we learned in Florida, Stevie sometimes runs into things and not pays attention
Yeah.
to what's in front of us.
Who was in front? Was it you or Sean?
I was in front.
It was
because
Stevie
you
was in
yelled
front,
at me
and
the
you-
whole time.
You ran over the
Because I'm-
plastic geese and everything else.
We were running over everything.
None of it was fun.
Every
That
time
was-
I
that
turned
was
around,
the-
I was getting yelled. I'm trying to fish.
That was the worst
you're
part of the.
I'm trying to fish, and you're worried more about what direction we're going.
Hence my whole point.
whole
I need a
time.
remote control.
Right. I get you. But I do have a kicker motor for
No,
it.
it doesn't. I was
Yeah.
steering just
So I can
fine.
still go out to like the under 20 horsepower
Yeah.
lakes. So that'll be nice.
Like
You got a
Margaret.
9.9 Ford or
15.
oh, that's a nice kicker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So
So back to Florida, I was steering just fine, but at the front of the boat, I couldn't see if
that's
there was
tough to see
any kind
with
of whatever
this
there.
crew in front of you.
Yeah.
And I'm just all I did was ask if there's like
Tell me if I'm going to run into anything.
rope, rocks,
You wanted a good
Plastic
co-pilot.
geese.
anything.
Yeah, or good co-captain.
While this is like 2 hours into
A
my
first
first
mate,
my
actually.
first time fishing the canal or
You
whatever
still
we were
can
at
say,
in Florida.
look out for the giant plastic goose.
I couldn't. I was all.
Was that your
blurry.
first time in a boat?
Yeah,
It was,
I guess
it was my first time in a boat.
I was not far away in the smaller boat with Boog, and I could hear Will going, Stevie, just tell me if we're going to hit something.
Well, the worst part. This is the worst.
Here
so
we
I'm
go.
with,
okay,
Tell us what
but
the
Gonna
worst
be
part
completely
was.
accurate, I'm sure.
I'm with two cousins, right?
Yeah.
Was that
So
accurate?
That's
So far.
accurate, yeah.
So the one in the front, Stevie, wasn't even remotely, helping out. So
He
I'm
was
like,
probably just,
Sean,
like, looking for
will you
peacock bass the whole
please,
time."
Sean? You're an experienced fisherman. You like boats. You do all the thing. You're a fly fisherman from like way back. Like exactly what needs
One
to
of you
happen
needs
here.
to be responsible.
Please watch. Help me out. And he was negligent.
they were
I was. It was
tunnel vision.
So that's to back up in our defense.
None of it.
You guys you've been fishing for 3 days or something like that.
Not at
beforehand.
all.
And
Not in a boat.
And we. Well,
That was our
still.
first time out in the boat, too.
Never in a canal.
But you had been there for 2 or 3 days before we
Not
got there, so
even
the
close.
newness of it.
We were there
was
for
like 24
4
hours.
hours.
I have
No,
never
4
heard
hours.
a co-pilot in my life tell the pilot, listen, I didn't see the stuff we just ran into because I've never been over Nevada before. You've been flying for years.
I just wanted to look at the Grand Canyon. Sorry, we crashed.
Anybody on the front of the boat's job is to go, hey, bud, we're going to hit that.
It's if you rely on me to tell you we're going to run into something.
Make sure you're always sitting in the back
on
seat
you.
of a
Well,
road trip with us.
Here's the thing.
Make sure we
Here's
get
the
a minute or
deal.
two for Stevie to tow behind.
You're
any of
steering the
boats.
boat from now on. Done.
That's scarier.
No, it's fine.
we're anchoring then.
I'll be fine.
We're going to anchor and we're going to fish till I'm tired, and then we'll
Mosey on.
mosey on.
I'll relieve you of duty. I'll wait till Deke buys a remote-controlled trolling motor.
Okay.
And then I'll borrow it like I did the pliers. And then he can find
Don't
another
store
set.
it in your
Yeah.
cooler.
And then Deke will get it back as a center console.
Don't leave that boat with me. It will be a center console in black.
I'm excited for you. I'm glad you. So that's bigger, that's longer and wider.
Longer and wider.
Are you gonna shoot out of it, or is it just fishing?
I'm going to use it for duck hunting.
Are you?
Yeah. So
I'm sure all your friends and family are just going to love that.
Did have we duck hunted with
No,
Deke?
no,
I've invited
never. You mean?
When did you invite?
He
some
invi-
Marburg.
Yeah, he's invited
Okay.
us the like 2 hours after he gets there. By the way, guys,
Hey guys, it's not sunlight yet.
yeah, I'm duck hunting today. I'm
I got
down
a
here.
blind.
Oh, bless your
I'm
heart.
not a fan of your tactics.
What else?
Bless his heart.
That's it for me.
That's a pretty big week.
That is a big week.
it's
man.
rained all
Congrats.
week.
Huge purchase.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Bought it at the right time.
Yeah.
The back creek's flooded too behind my house, which means when the water does subside, there'll be a ton of carp,
Yeah.
new carp behind
Nice.
my house, tons of them.
They ever wash hybrids down and through there?
I've never seen a hybrid, but I have seen walleyes.
Have you?
Yeah, in the back creek, bass. Yeah,
No kidding.
Logan caught a really nice walleye out of there years ago. Actually, Leanna was just mentioning this. The last time it flooded this bad was on my wedding.
Oh yeah.
Like it was that bad, and whenever I got married, a while back,
Yeah.
Jeez.
10, 11, 12.
A wacky
9, 10,
years.
11 or something. Yeah. 2011 had flooded.
Yeah, it's easy to remember.
That's why she let me pick it, 9, 10, 11.
There you go.
Almost forgot it anyhow, and I made it. But yeah, I have seen like walleyes and bass at this stage of flooding.
Yeah.
Everything comes over that
Does
spillway.
it?
Actually, last night there was a couple guys with a treble hook trying to grab them out of the spillway because the big, huge carp just stacked in there. Yeah. The water goes down, you'll be able to see them in there pretty good.
That's pretty neat.
It's cool because if you time it just right, where their backs are out of the water, but they can't really swim anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost fairly sad because they're stuck on the bottom. They can barely move. It's wild because you can go get really good pictures of the bald eagles down there. They'll drag them up on the rocks and sit right there and eat them on the rocks. It's really cool.
Bet you there's a lot of trash panda action too.
There's a lot of trash.
God. Probably trash panda central.
Speaking of trash pandas, one spooked me last week before all the rain started.
Oh, yeah?
We got home, me and Lacey, from midnight at work, and I come down the driveway, and I saw the little beady eyes under the boat trailer coming down the driveway.
At home.
Yeah.
Sure it wasn't Ryan.
No, what? Yeah, he was hiding under the boat. He's getting to be like Kennedy. I'm ready to go. No, I thought it was a possum, and we got my little DeWalt floodlight looking thing out, and sure enough, it was a little baby raccoon looking. He wasn't a big guy.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, he went up the tree, and he didn't think we could see him.
Yeah, ever since you got
Did you pet him?
ever since what's his son's name?
Hunter.
Ever since you got Hunter that bass, I mean, like he's just hanging out at your house now.
It was nice to have them guys out.
How about,
Yeah.
that was cool.
It was nice to have them out.
We fished with them on Sunday, we fished with them on Saturday.
Yeah, right before the rain.
And you know, like that was all we could talk about was Hunter getting that bass, and it was a big deal for them.
Well, I have the whole weekend open this weekend. Plans have changed, so hopefully some of these big bass will bite this weekend. So
I sure hope so.
So where'd you guys go? You guys had the kayaks out?
Yeah. Ryan had Hunter's boat out. We were at.
I saw Will trolling you around. Did
You know
I
what?
see that correctly?
If you don't have to paddle, don't. Because you just grab a hold of the side of that kayak and you roll.
the thing's a tank, man. It has
It
pulled
is
a
a
lot
tank.
of kayaks upriver
Oh my goodness!
before night fishing.
I have a hard time holding on to it because there's so much,
So
and
much
I'm sure
speed.
it wasn't even on full speed.
No, I opened her up.
Did you really?
I like.
Hold
that.
on, Stevie. We're going.
Yeah,
It takes off when you do that.
It's funny to see a kayak leaving a V going across the lake.
it does.
Yeah.
It does. Anyhow,
Especially with two.
Yeah, it's super easy. We were up at what's the name of that? Long Pine Run Reservoir, right outside Chambersburg.
Caledonia.
The was water clear?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I almost
Painfully clear.
painfully clear. I almost stuck my hand out. You know, it was one of the. You felt like you could drink it. You could just drink it, and it was
Probably could. You might get
water.
sick, but
like
Get Giardia.
safely drink
it's a liquid.
it. Safely drink it. It was just beautiful
It
water.
looked like you
but-
were tapping the rock.
You'll be all right, bud.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Like
Yeah.
tours.
So I got there before these guys did.
And fished it all out.
And I
yeah.
just paddled up the bank, maybe 40, 50 yards and just kind of drifted back to the launch. In third cast, this was maybe 10 after 6. Third cast, had a bass on top water, and then nothing after that for like 4 hours. But
You spooked them.
I must have. But we were all over a good portion of the reservoir. It gets to almost 90 feet.
We
Yeah.
hit the
Really?
hit the dam, and I caught a handful of little ones, like 3 little ones, on a small kayak.
Yeah.
The 2.5 or whatever.
2.8.
How deep
2.8.
was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
It drops down to 30 feet really quick.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
real
it's
deep.
kind of,
I was there
gradually
once,
to 90.
like 10 years ago. We went down there, but I remember how clear the water was. That's what I remember.
They're hard to locate, and they're real spooky. So when you do,
That's because the water's so clear. They
Yeah.
can see you coming. Yeah,
so it was hard fishing, but we actually got a bunch of them.
good.
We got into them.
And I saw some tanks there, so I know, we're going to go back and at least
Is that
know
a
where
possible
they're at.
ice fishing spot?
I think. Oh yeah, the water was probably 5 degrees cooler than.
Well, there's a lot of
any
shade
place
there.
around.
There's a lot of trees there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wonder if that will
I'm
freeze a little
sure.
bit thicker than.
It's like 80 feet though. It's deep.
It's
Yeah.
Well, there's got to be some big fish down there then. You know, suspended
We
fish.
need to do more research for sure.
yeah. We
Sounds
marked a lot. Around the
Using the
20,
deeper in
30
there.
foot. Yeah, I was running the deeper.
Were there
all through
suspended fish in the deep water?
there. Not a whole lot. I mean, there was some, but around
It was
20,
spotty.
30 feet, there was some on the bottom, which Ryan had the heavy jig he was throwing out there.
No takers.
No takers. There was some suspended, which we think was perch, because we saw a lot of perch fry.
Find out what the primary food source is for them there. and
Yeah.
try to
Hunter
match
caught a
the
nice
hatch.
one on the dam.
Yeah.
But
Kid's lucky, man. He's becoming one of those fishermen that have
Just
the
dipped
lucky
in it.
thumb. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
What was he using for, like that perch bait? It was like a fish scale or something.
Oh,
No, it wasn't a fish scale. It was a Kitech paddle that got bit off. Just the paddle part. He just put that on and was smashing perch off of it.
Yeah.
Like,
I believe that.
the paddle tail part.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
A little
nice.
paddle.
Little circle.
Nice.
smashing perch. I was-
There was big perch. There was like Lake Mead size perch.
I mean, that's
in there,
that's
too.
that's
They were
good
hard
for,
to catch.
That's good for ice fishing. Then.
Yeah.
it
But
is.
like we've been saying, the water was so clear. It was a lot of finesse fishing.
Well, that's what Will was saying too. Don't ever throw your Kitech away because they bit the paddle tail off either. We cut
That's
the
what I'm
back
hearing.
and we cut the back and split it. And sometimes I think it works better.
Yeah, I did that. I saved all that, and then I also started biting the head off
Yeah,
and
make them
going,
shorter.
and going lower.
Yep,
you know what I
yep.
mean? Just kind of you can use it as long as you can.
Well, that's how for the whole first year. That's how I caught crappies was shortening the 5-inch Kitech.
Gotcha.
That's funny that you guys say that. I saw a post a couple weeks ago about a guy taking all his gulp baits that would have been throw out worthy for most people.
Melting them down.
And no, he wasn't. He was just like putting them together, like somehow. He was like, if one had a hole in it, he would kind of like put 2 on the hook so it'd have a body with a tail on the jig. He was just, so it's a couple different colors. I mean, it was very interesting.
Experimental fishing is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
How about you, Bubby? You got anything new?
Maybe.
what is it?
Get on with it.
So I got an epic Sunday.
Oh,
I mean, if you guys, maybe you'd heard about it. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So we got home from kayak fishing, and I had to get up particularly early to get to Caledonia that early, and this. and
That's
that.
right. You would have had to get up at like
The crack.
the crack.
Oh, dark o'clock.
Yeah. So, I was, particular. Just it's hard. I mean, you kind of get back. You want to just rest a little
You want
bit.
a nap?
We got done fishing there,
Yeah.
and the nick of time. As soon as we got off the water, I could barely get Stevie off the water. I was, please, let's go.
No,
bud.
it was the nick of time.
I
Like
s-
literally, we
look,
got off
Look
the
at
water.
the clouds. Oh, it's not. Blah, blah, one more cast. Blah blah blah. Like, please, just let's start.
Never
fishing.
would have guessed from Stevie.
Let's start fishing towards the truck, please. And it was, we literally pulled them out of the water and started to put them in the truck, and it just started dumping.
Good thing you had a trolling motor.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it was kicking up some waves.
Yeah, it started. Yeah. Anyway, so that happened, and then it just was pouring after that. Anyway, I got home and I was checking my social media, and
And you sneezed.
Come on, Sneezy.
take it easy, Sneezy.
I gave the pause wave.
Oh, okay.
That's one.
Is that my warning?
Don't hold it in. You can blow your soul out.
Yeah,
You'll need a
you'll
tet-
blow your vent out.
Blowing the vent out.
You'll need a tetanus shot.
Don't hold your vent shut.
And stick your head in a tube. It'll kill you.
I'm sorry. I couldn't hold that one back. So you're checking your social media?
So I was checking my social media whenever I got home, and I got this message, from our new friend Justin Dean Corrigan, who's actually a pretty big fan of the show.
What a dude.
Isn't he a cool cat?
Yes,
Very
he
nice
is.
guy.
So
Yes, he is.
they're actually at a festival in Reading, and which is like 2 hours or give or take, and
It's an hour.
roughly whatever Kyle says.
Cal drives fast.
I guess. So they're a distance away, and he's like, oh yeah, I have the day off on Sunday, and there's a lot of things going on right now, and
Right.
it's just like, it's kind of challenging, I think, to get to reroute everything. We were supposed to be in Maryland,
Virginia.
in
Chickadee,
Virginia,
yeah.
shark fishing, and then flounder fishing with catfish on Sunday.
Yeah.
And
Weather did not
That's what
permit.
Koozie said.
weather was terrible.
Yeah.
And so we had a break in the weather here, and looking at that, and I'm like, if this is going to happen, we got to do it now.
The stars have to align.
Everything has to.
Everything has to line up. Like everything.
So I'm like, oh, bud, what's going on? You want me to jailbreak you? And he was like, oh no, man, you don't have to. Yes, absolutely. get up here, please, now. So yeah, I ran up and got him, and we're just talking about what we're going to be doing and fishing. How this fishing kind of action goes, and we've been fishing on the river for the last 3 weeks. Up until now, just smaller fish. The water was up the first week. It was down the next week. A bunch of different little challenges. We're still catching fish. We're catching numbers.
It's just been a little bit different than seasons past.
Yeah. Yep.
No
But
tanks till
nothing. Just, we're all in double digits and we're catching fish. It's just a great time still. But
So what happened?
you take this guy smallmouth fishing.
I did. And I learned right away that this was like his first smallmouth trip.
And you took him wet wading.
Yes.
Really?
That's
It's
awesome.
all downhill from there, bud.
And he's a big bass fisherman.
You spoiled him.
Yeah, he's from St. Louis, and he's got like 4-pound bass all day long. It's like he
Largies.
where
Yeah.
he fishes. Yep. He's the bass player for the Devon Almond Project,
Right.
Yeah.
and so everywhere they go, they're on this world tour. He looks at the internet, and I'm not going to tell. I can't tell too much because maybe we'll have him on the show.
Right.
That's a good idea.
But he looks at the internet. He looks at the Google Maps, and then he fishes everywhere.
Okay.
Fishes everywhere he gets.
Yeah, he was fishing at the day before, like during the day before his concert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other week.
In Jersey.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, that being said, he's never caught a smallmouth bass. I'm like, what? Blow my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's caught everything. So, I'm like, we literally have this stupid window with the weather being weird, and
A very narrow closing window.
yes. So I get him. He spends the night. We get up early, drive to our spot, and I literally pull up to the water with the truck, and I'm like looking out, like, is it too late? Did we miss it? Is it gonna,
Did the window close?
yeah, and so I could see the islands that we're used to, pitching at and different things, and I'm just like, I don't want to. We came too far. Like, let's just.
Yeah, it's a good drive.
I'm gonna know right away if this is not gonna work out, and we can go to IHOP. You know what I mean? It's gonna.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It's always a good default. Backup plan.
So, I'm like, my goal right now is like, I think we can do this based on what I can see. I know I looked at the, hydrographs and all these things, and Ryan told me it wasn't going to peak until, it wasn't going to get above 5 until like Monday. And I know the hydrograph changed quite a bit from the night before to the morning. So like I said, Steve said, long way around. We had this closing window, and I'm like, let's get in. We're gonna know right away, and let's catch like 1 or 2 fish and get out. And you know, he's okay, yeah. So anyway, we get in, and it's literally like perfect conditions, and I'm like we got this little kind of chocolatey thing right at the edge of the river, you know, where you can tell like where other streams are starting to dump in. It's real small. It's cold at first, but then you get up into the what I call the barrens, and where it's like this kind of dead zone until you get into the rocks and the fast water. Then, and you know, so it's kind of like it was fine. It's normal conditions. It was maybe just slightly up from last week. Well, we get up to this island, and I look back, and I'm like, I'm like, here, bud, this is what we do. Like, see this fast water, we're gonna pitch right into it. And as soon as I start to tell him, I look back and I'm like, is that you? Are you catching a fish right now? I'm trying to tell you how to catch a fish. He catches his first smallmouth.
That's
and
awesome.
he's just jacked up.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not going to go into it like he
Was that the video you posted? The little video? Was that the
that's
fish?
not the small. That's not his first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't have time to start filming for his
No,
first
I was
one,
talking
right?
to him. My back. He
You
was
were training
behind,
him or teaching him.
He
how
was
to do
behind
this.
me, and I'm like describing what's ahead of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of leave it right there, and you know, hopefully we get to talk to him. If not, we'll get him on the phone or
Do you
something.
think that epic morning, do you think that it might have made him addicted to wet wading that quickly?
150%. Like he's
If you haven't done it before and you go do it on a day that's perfect conditions or like that, that's very addicting.
Yeah, it was magical. Like the one that we caught, the one very interesting one we caught was like, and you guys out there won't have a frame of reference, but like Kyle, like Kyle, it's right off our hip basically.
Yeah.
And that thing smashes his lure right off your
It can
hip.
take you off guard when they're that close. Yeah.
Yeah.
100.
That's always fun when you kind of think your retrieval's done, and then bam,
Yeah.
a fish hits.
That's
always great.
It's right off your hip, and it's just you freak out. Yeah, it's you don't get that on a boat. You don't get that, you know, at a bank.
Well, like last season was my first time wet wading, and I love it. It's, you know, you guys had me out, and it's like, let's do this again. You know, can't wait.
I can't wait to take you up and do it on the Juniata. There's not the quantity of large smallmouth.
Yeah.
But you can catch
quality.
No, let me. I can't wait to take you up on the Juniata and do that, because there's not like the bigger smallmouth aren't as in numbers up there.
Okay.
But you can catch a lot more fish in one day.
Right.
Yeah. Like you can just,
Yeah.
and if you're not catching, like throwing kitex, if you're not just catching smallmouth, you're catching red eye rock bass, and they're
Right.
just as fun. Like
Yeah.
you can catch 100
I
of them a
haven't
day.
caught them in a while. Yeah.
They're up
Yeah.
on the Juniata. You can smash them all day.
What I remember about the Juniata in particular is if you catch one in one spot, you stay there,
Yeah.
and you just keep hitting that. It's like a
Yep.
like a slot machine. You just keep pulling that
Pulling
thing,
the
and
lever.
it just keeps coming and coming.
Especially with rock bass, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. They just take it. So.
That's awesome.
But I mean, I've had it on the river too, but it's not like that, you know.
Right.
Yeah. But usually I think the smallies are a little bit more territorial
And the Juniatas, I find just a bit. It's more laxed. There are a lot less chances to run into any kind of real danger as far as holes and
right.
big,
not as
big
wide.
log jams or something crazy that you're going to get yourself into trouble.
Right.
Because you're walking around in knee deep water,
Yeah.
throwing into the deeper spots that are probably waist deep. You know, so
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
I can't wait to hear more about
No,
that.
and we're supposed to meet up with him again.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on some stuff. So
I can't
Trying to get the
yeah.
river down.
If we can get this river down, yeah. It's what it crest at, Stevie.
17.2 or something like
Just
that.
up there.
Yeah, we were under 5
17.3.
when we fished. We were barely under 5 when we fished.
wow.
So it's at 17.2 right now. Give me a break.
Yeah. All right. It's that time. and we're gonna let Kyle go first.
What time is it, bud?
What time is it?
The Better the Hunt topic hat.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
It's a shaking.
Go to betterthehunt.com.
It's a shaking. Shake that up, Kyle.
I'm a
Be
shaking.
the shaker tonight.
Oh, she is a moving.
Go to betterthehunt.com. Check out all their amazing
A lot of
products.
topics in here.
There's a lot of topics in there.
And what do we got?
Tonight's topic is, you're going to like this, Kyle. Go-to fishing lures.
Come on.
Any
No.
species. Yes, it is.
Any species.
Any species.
Hold on. Go-to fishing lures.
What are your go-to fishing lures?
that can catch any species?
Is it
or
go
for,
But you can
Go to fishinglures.com.
go to
.com.
fishinglures.com.
I don't even know if that's real.
What are your... You guys know what I'm talking about. Why are you messing with me?
Because it's easy to mess with you, bud.
I heard that.
'Cause
All
you
right.
have a hard stop.
Because I got a hard stop at 9:15. All right, Kyle, take it away. Go-to fishing lures.
go-to? Is it just one for me, and then we go down the line?
I just want to hear from you.
It's his first time. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Kyle.
Yeah, so this is a part of the show where we have
Talk about a topic.
general interaction.
It's a random topic.
Random
It's a little
topic.
round table discussion. You know, you give your point of view, we go to the next person, the next
Stevie,
person.
just tell me what to say.
Our betterthehunt.com topic hat. We pull a topic out of it.
Randy from Better the Hunt generously sponsors the topic hat, and you're not doing it very much justice.
We
right
shake the hat. We pull a topic out.
Do you want somebody else to go first,
Yeah.
We
bud?
discuss it.
now. Maybe Catfish can
Do you want some
answer.
training
You can
wheels
do
for this,
this. You can do this,
Dear
Kyle.
Lord, this is
one?
a
We broke him.
This is a degradation.
I got.
All right.
I got this.
Let's hear it,
All right.
bud. What do you got, Kyle?
Oh, well, I think one of my favorite go-to lures is just throwing a little soft plastic on like a 1/4 ounce jig head.
Mm-hmm.
You can pretty much catch almost any fish on that setup. I mean, you're talking saltwater, freshwater. It's
I mean, it's nondescript plastic.
Yeah, you
Well,
don't
I
have
mean-
a favorite soft plastic?
well, I do.
Well, let's hear
I think
it,
that's,
bud.
I think that's what the
That's the
question
whole
is.
point
So
of
you
this
don't wanna
topic
give it up?
hat.
You wanna
Holy buckets.
keep that secret with you.
All
Catfish, what do you got?
So a random general soft
Plastic.
plastic on a jig
No, I
head.
like to throw something.
Like a trash bag.
No,
It's soft plastic, all right.
either something with either paddle tail or like
Okay.
a twister tail, and then obviously the size would depend on the size of the fish that you're
Right.
targeting. But you can't go wrong
cool,
with like a good
Kyle.
like
That's a good
4-inch.
answer.
Yeah, Mr. Twister, Kai-Tech, something
we
along
go.
those lines.
See, I think he's got a good point because as years go on, that answer can change. Because years ago, when I first moved to Lake Mead, I would swear up and down, tell everybody that a green Mr. Twister is the only thing you should throw ever.
Yeah.
It'll catch everything in Lake Mead. It caught bass, crappies, perch. Once it, like Will said, once it gets chewed up, the perch eat it.
Yeah.
Green Mr. Twister is pretty much what I had in my pocket all for the first 2 years. It's all I threw, whether it's a 2-inch one for crappies or 4-inch for bass. And as years go on, of course, I still am a huge Kai-Tech fan. I mean, once I found Kai-Techs, it was over for 3 solid seasons. It's
Anyhow.
I mean, that's what was. I had half of ones in my pocket. They're coming out of the dryer. They were stuck in the drying because they were in my pockets all the time. And then, of course, now I've been baptized in the world of Z-Man and Elastic, if I said that right. And
Elastec.
yeah, that. And
Full Z-tard.
yeah, I am. I have the bug bad. It don't matter what they make. I have it,
Yeah.
or I want it, or it's on order.
Yeah, man.
Amazon has me memorized. I'm on.
There's catfish again.
Yeah, did you see the post on Facebook the other day? It says, "Don't drink in Amazon," and there's just 100 boxes in the rain outside.
Somebody's like garage doors filled with Amazon boxes.
Yeah, the FedEx guy hates me. He's like, I don't know what this Z-Man crap is, but I'm tired of walking it down the driveway. But they had that's like I was saying to Kyle, that's a go-to. Any kind of soft plastic like that's going to catch fish no matter where you are. If you're going to go on a trip somewhere and you don't know what to use, my suggestion would be to take something that's dark colored, black, purple, or chartreuse, and obviously white. Just take it with you because you can fit them in your pocket. Put you can put a jig head in your hat. You have one with you. You don't have to take anything with you to go for a walk. But I mean, obviously, we've been talking about it since like 1997 on this podcast.
Right.
Really?
I've caught pretty much everything now, except for being eluded in Florida, which was
I don't understand.
That was an anomaly.
Either. Yeah.
You rolled something but that's it.
They tried. I don't think they were used to seeing it. I don't know. Like they were debating. But it was, I mean, I caught a leopard ray in Honduras on it, but
yeah.
Topwater in general, same thing. Things can change. I threw Heat and Spooks for years. Still probably to this day one of my favorite lures there is to throw.
Right.
Walking the dog type. But obviously the Whopper Plopper catches everything. Because here's the wild thing: you can throw that lure, and you can pop it. Like you can use it as a popper. You don't have to just throw it out and reel it back in, or you can burn it, work it slow. You can zigzag a Whopper Plopper if it's only 20 yards from you or less if you work the rod right. So they're my go-to lures: Topwater, Heat and Spooks, Whopper Ploppers. Right now, Z-Man's products, and hopefully that'll stay like that for a couple years because I really hate to re-up everything again. Something else comes out.
Yeah.
Deaky, what do you got? What's in that old Deke tackle bag?
The green pumpkin seed tube
Yeah.
is still my favorite.
Is it?
There's just something about the action and how to work it just fits
How do you work it?
He lives off.
I bounce it off the bottom
Yeah.
in the retrieve with
Slow.
slow and with a little, sometimes even a little swim action. If you can keep it off the bottom, and when you give that twitch, it kind of gives a swimming action, and it's really erratic.
So it kind of looks like a retreating
crayfish, wounded, something else. But yeah,
Knee.
You have a favorite color?
yeah, it's definitely that green pumpkin seed,
Is that
or the purple with like a metallic flake.
Yeah.
peanut butter and jelly.
Purple's
I
been
don't
on
use the
fire
peanut
this
butter
year.
and jelly though.
You don't?
No,
I can't do that. I don't know anything. Like I don't know why I don't catch fish on this. I don't know.
tube
Why.
and you.
I don't catch fish on tubes either. Only he does. I've tried them. I don't catch them.
it's a different bite.
It's a delicacy. I heard.
Well, but no, like even like we were fishing with Ryan earlier in the summer, and when they bite on a tube, it's just a little bit different feel, and it's I don't know. I like it.
I'm going to have to go to it and try it again.
There's some times, and it's rare. I'm gonna say it's very rare, but when there's been times
Deke's right.
when the rest of us have not caught a fish, that Deke has caught a fish, and that
I don't remember that.
I could be wrong. I mean, I could be.
Did you dream this?
Maybe it was a dream, but I maybe.
Pincha with the deeper boys.
I've seen some.
What do you call it?
Soda's point for the first 2 hours.
None of that makes sense.
I've seen some pretty heated debates online with people between the Ned rig and the tube, and typically people. What I've heard, I haven't experienced this because I don't typically fish with either one of those, but numbers on the Ned rig, size on the tube. Maybe that's.
I don't know. I've caught some tanks on Ned rig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, then the Ned rig. I mean, at Lake
like
Mead,
a true Ned rig.
Yeah.
Well, even on the Susquehanna, I was just out kayaking a few weeks
But
ago.
we caught 5 different species that one day.
Yes, you
On
did.
Ned
On the
rig.
same color, same ounce Ned rig, same
Yeah.
size.
Yeah. Hey,
So I mean, it's
I don't
it's
know.
another good bite. I think it just depends. It's you're lighter with the Ned rig, so it's gonna be a slower presentation.
What's a Ned rig for the people honestly that don't know? Because I think that's an acquired taste as well.
For me, the jig head is what actually is the Ned rig to me.
It is the hottest thing in bass fishing right now.
It's
I
where
think.
it's a lighter jig head. Normally,
a finesse jig.
yeah,
Like an
Norm-
eighth.
Normally, it's an eighth or smaller,
Uh-huh.
like a 3/32.
Right.
Well, that's 3/32. I just ordered some.
4/32.
No,
That would be an 8.
yeah, an 8.
It's 4:30.
It's a 4/32. No, a 3/32. I forget what I ordered 3, and they're really light. But when it falls, the presentation of the hook should be straight up and down. So most of your other jig heads of like a normal, what you would use with a Kitech, is going to kind of give an angle presentation
Or flat.
when
Right
it
down.
hits the bottom. But the Ned rig, where the eye that you attach it compared to the hook is going to give you a completely vertical.
Which really helps with Z-Man because the Elastec floats.
It's going to give, and that's
Right, that
that's the
floats
other
more
thing.
than
So
other
then,
plastics.
so then your bait is a floating bait.
Right, which
So
then, it looks...
They almost like a traditional one would almost look like a small Senko.
Right.
Now Z-Man is coming out with the like paddle. I don't want to call it a paddle tail one.
Well, it's
but like a split tail.
And they have almost like a paddle tail minnow Z now, which is super cool.
And all those will work on that jig head.
But even saltwater, you can hook it up with like the little shrimp looking thing they have, Z-Man, and it would still sit vertical.
Yeah, and that's the presentation is what gives the Ned rig.
Yeah.
And it's so light.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But you can also the same way you can work it on the bottom, you can work it swimming, you can work it a pulse and twitch.
Listen, if there's a corn dog laying on the table or there's a corn dog standing straight up, I'm eating the one that's like it looks better.
I'll eat one that's vertical, horizontal before I eat a corn dog that's vertical.
For me, I can fish a tube quicker and cover more ground of the two.
Well, any bait that looks dead on the bottom versus something that looks alive. Nothing alive is standing upright or swimming upright.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just mimics, like, especially if you're throwing something in a bass's bed, it would mimic something facing down, like eating their eggs or in their bed, which makes them mad versus something that's just dead laying there. Or maybe they think it's a stick, if it's the wrong color versus the muddy water, whatever.
But yeah, the Ned rig's slower presentation than the tube. But both are more on the finesse end of the spectrum.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
What about you, Will?
Kitech.
On a jig head?
Kitech.
He's just stubborn. He doesn't evolve.
Or do you rig them weedless with no weight?
Kitech.
Carolina rig.
He doesn't care what hook's on it. Just has to have a Kitech on it.
My favorite, in all honesty, is a weedless Kitech.
Yeah.
But I do like like a jig head.
Sometimes you need to get it to the bottom quicker,
Right.
heavier current.
You were throwing those weighted weedless hooks?
Yeah.
Where like the weight is on the bow of the
shank.
hook, the shank. Yeah, the shank of the hook.
Rine hooked me up with those.
They're
and
nice.
They're fine. Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
I had to do that too because the first time we were out wet wading, the water was a little bit faster than normal.
Yeah.
So you got to get it down.
You throw it out and it's already down there before it's just gone.
Yeah. Yep. So
those weighted shanks, real quick, sometimes don't get hung as quick either in the rocks as a jig head does. So.
My cousin Stevie and I had a spirited discussion this week, and I'm actually coming around to color. Like different colors for different things.
Like different times, different conditions.
I don't even know if I'm not on the condition part of it, but just like there's a color or two that just kills, in certain areas.
I think each body of water has a color that works better than others.
No doubt.
But like your basics though, like Catfish said, your dark colors and then one light color.
Chartreuse and purple in my lake are their go-tos. Yep.
Stevie swears color doesn't matter.
It does matter.
I think it does.
I can throw a chartreuse hula stick and a peanut butter and jelly hula stick with the same jig head off my boat at Lake Mead and catch 10 fish to one, depending on what they're color hitting one day.
Yeah.
And I'm only saying because we've done it, and that proves to me that color matters.
And maybe it's because I don't. Typically, when I'm bass fishing, it's you're
throwing a spoon
catch,
with 2-pound test line.
I'm happy to catch one or two. Where you're at. So I haven't been able with trout. I've noticed color makes a difference, but I just personally I haven't. I've
seen
been
it
on
the
boats
where one guy has one color of the same jig, lure, whatever it is, and that guy's catching more than the other guy.
We had broken back Rapalas.
Yeah.
I finally said it in Soda's Point. And because he had one in a different color than we had, he was crushing fish for 2 hours.
Now,
we were throwing the same lure, Same presentation. We were watching what he was doing with his hands, but we did not have the color he had. And everything
when I
was
say
We
I
matched
don't
the
think
retrieve
color,
and everything.
but I'm talking like between purple and
Green?
and yellow, or that I think that probably makes a difference. But when you're talking green
dark,
pumpkin with black flake, or
well, if they're
green
very
pumpkin
close,
with
I can
silver
agree with that.
flake,
We
or
went
green pumpkin.
but we went
with,
silver. I had a silver Rapala,
yeah.
and I think somebody had like a perch one,
I had a perch one, yeah.
and it was a difference.
Yeah.
Just in those two colors.
There's a color of Kitech that if my basement didn't take on water this week, I'm calling Kitech and I'm going to buy them out of this color. I mean, I'm calling.
And
Do it.
I'm doing it.
That's the thing. Once it works for you, that's the right lure.
Yeah.
That's
It
your,
is a
that's your
confidence.
go-to lure. That's
It's
the
a
top.
confidence thing.
Yeah. Now, here's the wild thing that I have learned from Stevie. I bought that little Clio, that silver and blue spoon for Canada.
Yeah.
I threw it on one day because he's been catching bass on them. Now, how many of you've lost? The bass snap them off in Lake Mead and they lose them, but they do work.
Couple.
Out there in the deeper water, I've been throwing that Clio spoon instead of soft plastics, and I've been slamming crappies.
Mm-hmm.
So I have learned that from you, that I can get away from soft plastics and what I know and use something different.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to using anything different if I see it work. I'll put it in my arsenal, and that's good enough for me.
I use a lure just because Stevie's not along. I know he likes to use, so I'll try my rear end off to catch a fish on a lure
Just to spite me.
like I caught a nice pike on a Castmaster.
Yeah.
And that's all I
remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's all I pitched. Everybody else was
Well,
fishing.
the best
all
part
this-
is that Castmaster was like a quarter of the size of probably what everybody else was throwing for pike.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
wanted
my. Now I have. If there was only two lures I could ever carry, it's a Castmaster, an 1/8 ounce Castmaster, because I've caught everything on it.
Here's the wild thing, though. Like you say, and you're one of the best fishermen I know, but you say you go down to North Carolina, you're frustrating, fishing sucks, fished for days, nothing, but you won't change and go to a Z-Man. You won't even try something that may work because you'd rather catch nothing.
This is a direct quote from him. Like when were we out last? That we were
Saturday.
out. No. We were out together, and you switched up to. We were at Pinchot.
Oh yeah, what was it? 3 weeks.
3
ago?
weeks ago, we were at Pinchot. I said, "Bud, will you throw something else? Just put on a plastic worm." And he's like, "No, I hate it." And that's how he talks. And I'm not doing it. And then finally, I'm like, "Will you please just do it?" So he puts one on.
Yeah.
What
I put on a Ned rig with a black and blue hula stick.
What happened?
Yeah, it caught a fish.
I did it to him
Right
in Lake
away.
Mead, too, and he was catching fish.
I don't know. I
You can take that and take that down to North Carolina and probably catch fish
I
off
would-
that dock.
I'd rather catch a fish
And
on
I
a
took-
Castmaster.
my wife and
Or
I
I'd
went.
rather not catch a fish. What'd you say?
I don't
Something to the
remember.
effect. I would rather not catch a fish on something I normally use than catch a fish with a. I'm like,
I
come
don't
on.
Doesn't make any
understand.
sense.
I don't understand
My
that
wife and I
mentality
went
at all.
fishing, went kayaking a few weeks ago, and I gave her. I mean, I put a Ned rig on, and because I knew she would catch something, but I don't know. I don't know. I
It's still
honestly can't
presentation.
answer.
You could throw anything in the
But
water.
she outfished me.
Was she ripping them out Kajewski style?
Almost. I mean, she outfished me easily with the Ned rig, but
If DK brought tubes to the lake and was throwing those soft plastic tubes and was out fishing me, I would change. I would put one on because I would be digging in his bag to get one.
I've caught more fish on a 1/8 ounce chrome Castmaster and a 5-inch wacky rigged green pumpkin Senko. Those two, I've caught more fish hands down on those two lures.
I
than
agree. I was a
anything else.
Senko lover
Yeah.
for years. I get it.
But
Speaking of grabby hands and stuff like that,
Yeah.
our buddy Justin Dean Corrigan, JDC,
yeah,
he's friends with Aunt Glasgow, and I told him, I said, your only job, I don't care if you post a picture on social media, your only job is to, like, every time you catch a fish, send it to
send it to Ant.
Aunt.
Did he?
and make him completely jealous. And then Ant's like, make sure you raid Will's tackle box. Like, so I had to watch because Ant's trying to get at me.
I want to go retro real quick.
Yeah.
So back in the day, some of the go-to lures, I would like to try them again because people have stopped using them
like
as
the
much.
Mr. Twisters and stuff.
No, even more retro, like the Rapala crab that we blew everything up on when we were kids.
Catches my finger.
Yeah, not many people throw jitterbugs anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's just a different presentation.
Did you ever throw the? It was a black worm with it was tandem hooked black worm with like a spinning blade in front of it.
in the front of it. Yeah,
in the front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we used to kill.
I don't even know where you buy them anymore.
I don't know. Yeah, it was already pre-rigged.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Cream worm?
What? It was a black worm.
Yeah.
But it was pre-rigged with those two hooks and a spinner blade in front of it, all in the leader.
Well, see that Sean Kennedy guy that I fish with. He does that. He puts little willow blades.
Yeah.
I guess they're already got a little thing to put through the line.
Yeah.
He puts them in front of his soft plastic baits, and it works well for him.
And that's what the worm harness is that I've been catching. I've made those. It's two hooks and a willow blade.
Yeah, so what we can take away from this topic, Kat, is if you aren't catching fish, change up, change your color, change something, get a new go-to lure, or be like Stevie.
Just
and
stick with what you know.
Fish with shrimp the
and
rest of your
don't
life.
catch
and
anything.
It happened.
Get mad at kids for catching reds in front of you.
It happened for him one time in '96, and never quit.
Sometimes, though, I mean, it's nice to just take a bait that you've seen other people use and just, I'm trying it. I'm not going to, like this whole outing, if I catch a fish or not. Now, it's hard to say because, time is precious out in the water.
Oh, it sure was in Florida.
But just say that today is dedicated to that bait. I'm going to figure it out.
I like that.
I'm going to try the retrieve. I'm going to try changing up retrieve, changing up the technique. But I'm going to see if this bait works for me. And if it doesn't, then you move on.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do that. Since you said it, I'm going to dedicate an entire day to Lake Mead to throwing tubes. So
there you go.
You have any with you?
I think there is some.
Okay. And then I'm going to do a whole day with tubes because I'm not going to go buy any.
Yeah, right. On his new boat. I think we did this topic a little bit.
I don't know
justice.
about all that. All you said was Kitech 10 times.
That's fine with me.
That's his go-to lure.
Did you see it when he says the word Kitech? The little twinkle in his eye lights up. He gets this smirk.
It does.
Because he just knows it means Kitech equals bass.
yeah, it
it's like
means-
an equation and written in stone from the old days.
If you look, it's like the beautiful mind thing,
Right.
all these equations writing out, and every time the answer is Kitech.
Kitech squared equals big bass.
The Old Testament of fishing.
We have caught some fish on him, haven't we?
It's not like, it's amazing.
Countless.
It's magical, so they say.
Let's kick this pig.
They call him Susquehanna Candy.
Maybe they'll design a Susquehanna candy for us.
There you go.
That'd be nice.
That
Kitech.
would be nice.
So,
Listen
Stevie,
up.
where
What's
can they
up,
find
buddy?
us, bud?
Oh, boy. They can find us at RuttenRiverPursuits.com on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Rutten River Pursuits. Check out our YouTube page. A lot of cool things coming up. And there's one video in particular that I am just jonesing to see posted up there. So keep your eye out for that. Little teaser. It is about this famous Sodas Point trip that the guys took
That
earlier.
Stevie didn't
That
get to.
I didn't go on. But yeah,
Kyle,
you can.
Don't worry, Stevie. I didn't make it either.
You learned a lesson on that one, didn't you?
Yeah.
No, I'll tell
When
you.
in doubt, just commit yourself.
And another spoiler, there's a lot of zizzing.
A lot of
zizzing.
And you can find that on our YouTube page at Rutten River Pursuits Podcast.
When it comes out.
When it comes out.
Hey,
And
we'll post it the day after this gets aired.
absolutely.
Really?
That's
I'll make a
perfect.
commitment to that.
Yeah. You heard it here, folks.
So it'll be Friday.
R2 exclusive.
Yeah. Download the podcast
It'll be
on
Thursday.
Doggone. Download the podcast on iTunes or Castbox.
Castbox.
Stitcher
All right.
and Google Play.
Yeah, there's other places too, but nobody's using them.
Awesome night, guys.
All right, guys. Later.
Real
See ya.
weedless.
Yeah, like I said, it's drier than a popcorn fart.
I hate popcorn farts that are dry.
What? So a random general soft plastic on a jig.
No, I
head.
like to throw something.
Like a trash bag.
No.
That's soft plastic, all right.
Either something with either paddle tail or like
Okay.
a twister tail.
And at the same time, I was getting hungry, and I said, Bryce, let's stop for eggs.
Yeah.
And it just
Oh yeah, when I'm
Eggs.
traveling, that's like the first thing that comes to mind.
For some real good deal eggs.
and it was just a real existential morning, guys.
Got all existential.
I'm starving. Let's stop and get some eggs.
Oh yeah.
Existential.
I come down the driveway and I saw the little beady eyes under the boat trailer coming down the driveway.
At home.
Yeah.
Sure, it wasn't Ryan.
No, what? Yeah, he was hiding under the boat. He's getting to be like Kennedy. I'm ready to go.
Crash, panic, quiver.
I knew it was coming.